Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. Continuing with the pleasant conditions around the area this morning with some mostly sunny skies and expecting some fairly quiet and comfortable conditions as we move through the remainder of the week. We will see some slightly breezy conditions, particularly as we get into Thursday and Friday, and we'll see some slightly warmer temperatures as well, back to more average and slightly above average temperatures. But overall, looking at dry weather expected through the next couple of days. We'll take a look at the current surface analysis, high pressure and control over the area once again today should keep things quiet. We will see some cumulus clouds build in as we move through the day. Today it's similar to what we saw yesterday, but not expecting any precipitation or lightning. We do have this area of low pressure well off to the northwest. It's going to be tracking easterly and bring this cold boundary through our region, particularly as we go into Thursday night and into the overnight time frame. But all models indicating right now that will weaken and dry out as it approaches the region, and not expecting any significant weather from that outside of some slightly breezier conditions ahead and along that boundary as it moves into the region. Current conditions this morning, just a few clouds around 2,000 feet and a few clouds at 25,000 feet. Winds out of the north-northwest at 5 knots. Temperature 63 degrees. Relative humidity is at 90%. Taking a look at the current visible satellite, we see some of those high clouds off to the northwest and some lower level clouds, mainly along the local waterways across the bay and off the ocean here. There are some light reflectivity values with some of that cloud cover off over the ocean. Possibly a light shower out there, but not expecting any impact from that as we move through the day today. We'll look at the high resolution model, see what we can expect for the next couple of days. As mentioned, do expect dry conditions as we move through the day today. We'll see some daytime heating, get those clouds going during the afternoon time frame, but overall fairly light winds. Still keeping an onshore component to the wind for much of the day today before we start to see more of a southerly component building in as we go overnight into our Thursday. Thursday looks to be dry through the day for Thursday. Ahead of that boundary starts to come into the picture off to the northwest. We will see the winds on the increase as we move through the day, particularly as we get later in the day. We'll see a chance of possibly a wind advisory later in the day with some of those peak gusts getting up above 20 knots, getting us close to that 25 knot threshold. But we'll see, as the models have been indicating, as this boundary and some shower and storm activity along it pushes into the region, the boundary does weaken, and we do see that shower and storm activity either miss just to the north or dry out as it moves into the local area as that boundary stalls and weakens over the region. So we'll continue to see some slightly breezy conditions for the first part of the overnight time frame. And as we move into the day on Friday, we'll see continued dry conditions, and then moving into the afternoon, it does look like we could see some winds ramping up once again on Friday. Similar, seeing those peak gusts up around 20 or just above 20 knots, so a slight chance we see a wind advisory for our Friday as well, but overall it looks like we'll stay just below that at this time. So the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, seeing green conditions for the next 24 hours, seeing our high temperature of 77 degrees. This afternoon we'll see those winds, as mentioned, with an onshore component out of the northeast. For the first part of the afternoon, around 7 to 12 knots, becoming more east-southeasterly as we go into the later portion of the working hours today. And we'll see partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies at times. As mentioned, we'll expect a ceiling to develop around 3,500 feet during the afternoon time frame. And then we'll see those clouds on the decrease as we go into the evening, once again becoming mostly clear through the overnight time frame. Maybe some patchy mist around the area, but overall just seeing those winds light out of the south-southeast, becoming more south-southwesterly as we get to the start of the day on Thursday. We'll see a slightly milder evening with a low expected around 62 degrees, so still below average for this time of year. And right now seeing those tides running about a half a foot to a foot above normal. Thursday, partly cloudy, becoming slightly breezy. Again, as mentioned, mainly later in the day, high around 82 as we see some warming up, more southerly component to the wind ahead of that boundary. Do have that yellow risk for those elevated winds, again, later in the day mainly. Keep that yellow risk into the evening for particularly the first part of the evening. It does look mostly partly cloudy, just a very slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm But as mentioned, does look like much of that activity will dissipate or miss the local area. We'll see our low around 68 degrees. And then continuing in the mid 80s for our Friday with partly cloudy to mostly sunny conditions. Slightly breezy conditions once again develop during the afternoon, so a yellow risk for that. Wind advisory criteria once again for that slight chance. Otherwise, expecting our high around 85 degrees. That's going to wrap up the 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. Take a look at the extended forecast. Enjoy your morning.